Hi, welcome back to the Pot Smoker's Bible. My name is Zion. I'm the author of the Pot Smoker's Bible, which contains the prophetic book of Zion, where I get my name, pot smokers get their identity, and together we get our nationality. Now, today we're talking about chapter 14 of the Pot Smoker's Bible, which is chapter 11 of the book of Zion. Now, the chapter is called I Dwell in a High and Holy Place, and it goes like this. This chapter is about the Grey. The Grey are saying here that they are telepathic. They have knowledge and abilities beyond ours. We are reminded again of Moses, but this time it's the power of the Grey that's called to mind. The ways of the Grey are very different than ours. We marvel at their abilities. They deal with quantum forces. Now, the closest thing that they have to a god is what they call the Force. And they use this force the way that we use tools. It is through the manipulation of this quantum force that the Grey were able to hold back the waters of the Sea of Reeds when Moses and the Israelites passed through. You see, Moses also was telepathic, but it wasn't until he inhaled the smoke of the bush that was burning that he was able to hear the voice of God. This bush, of course, was marijuana. And it was the THC that he ingested that was necessary for us to speak on their level as telepaths. Their thoughts are higher than ours. They think on a different level. Now, when I asked Ishi his name, he told me I couldn't say it because it was too long and it contained images as well as sounds. Their language is telepathic. It has visual components as well that we, or at least I, am not capable of using at this time. So, they have to speak to us on our level. We are told that the Grey understand nature and can manipulate it, as in the parting of the Sea of Reeds. Yes, the Sea of Reeds. You see, the Red Sea wasn't in the right location to be the body of water in the text. However, the Sea of Reeds was in just the right spot. And it's a lot more shallow. And it has been known to part in strong winds. Now, the Grey timed their event to coincide with this natural event. Then they created a force field using quantum forces to enhance this effect. By using nature as a tool, the Grey created a magical effect that was able to inspire awe in us mere humans. Now, in the very near future, our children will be taught alongside the Grey children. Our future generations will be just as intelligent as the Grey. They will be taught to manipulate matter, and they will know how to use it wisely. That is one of the promises made by the Grey 3,000 years ago. Our children will live a much higher level than we do. The promises of the ancient Grey are always kept. Mankind may live in a world where people lie all the time, but the use of telepathy prohibits lies. You can't lie in your mind. Your thoughts betray you because your thoughts are known. So there's no way that you can lie. You see, in order to lie, you have to think the truth first, and then you change it in your mind. The lie is the part that comes out of your mouth. Now, a telepath can hear the truth as well as the lie. Telepathics by their own nature, really can't lie. It's too obvious. However, the truer meaning of this passage is in fact that the gray are intending to follow through with their plans for my people. They set this plan in motion 3,000 years ago. And our entire world's history was designed to create the right conditions for the war on drugs to happen. It had to happen to create Zion. So after going through all of the trouble to create us, the gray intend to finish what they started. The war on drugs was necessary to teach my people humility and to purify our thoughts and our actions. Humility is necessary. Now, humanity was created using a primitive people. We had to grow up as a species in order to be able to use our minds wisely. The brutish nature of our primitive origins had to be matured enough to allow our minds to handle the responsibility of the higher brain functions. The war on drugs was used to teach us to control our thoughts through adversity. In order for us to learn to use our abilities, we have to learn to quiet our minds. To quiet our minds, we had to learn humility and to be forced to guard our actions, which required us to guard our thoughts, making us the contrite ones. In order to condition our minds, we first had to lose our egos. Pride can be a very destructive emotion. In order for Zionites to let go of pride, we had to suffer. Our broken spirit opened our closed minds to the larger reality. We had to learn to use our minds in order to outwit our enemies. We had to learn to discipline our thoughts and actions to protect ourselves from everyone around us. There can be no ego in the face of adversity. For all of our suffering will be rewarded. Once we have learned our lessons and we have accepted our identity, we will reap the good that we have sown. Part of the promise of the prophecy is the end of suffering. It was to this end, to end suffering, that I chose this path. The promise of a brighter future for our children is at the heart of the prophecy of Zion. Once we take our rightful place in society, our holy smoke will be just that. Our marijuana use will be our most righteous act. We will be honored for our use of weed. A total reversal of our current circumstance. Our current circumstance is the direct result of my people's lack of interest in the Torah. The Great went to great lengths to send us the message of Zion through the prophets of Israel. They created 3 religions to ensure the plan worked. Then, after 3,000 years of waiting for us to be created, we just simply didn't bother to read the message. I think that's so. The Great tell us here that they desire mercy more than burnt offerings. Our burnt offerings are getting high. It's a sacrifice because of the war. We sacrifice our rights as citizens when we get high. We offer up ourselves at the risk of prison and death. But the Grey want mercy. They want an end to the war. They want my people to get high for their cause, not just for a good time. We were created to communicate with the gray. When we rejected the Torah, we rejected the gray. They punished us, but now they want an end to the punishment. Now, the gray start talking in the terms of a defense. Shall the lawful captive be delivered? Yes, even the captive of the mighty shall be taken away. How? Because the law itself isn't a law. It's an unconstitutional law, a law that by the Bill of Rights isn't allowed. So, the so-called lawful captives are in reality unlawful captives. The Gray defend the Zionite right to end the war on drugs. There is a direct promise by the Gray. Our children will be cared for. Our enemies will be overcome. We will be freed of our current plight. The Gray have already provided us with the evidence to free ourselves. When we stand up for ourselves, they will stand with us. A very powerful Savior. In this chapter, the Gray claim the Zionite people as their people. We are Gray. We belong to them. We are with them on a level that no other human can understand. Because the only way to know them is to become as we, the people of Zion, are. You can't get high without being turned on genetically. Once your gray DNA is activated by the THC in the pot, you become one of theirs. And now I'm going to end the first part of chapter 14 of the Pot Smoker's Bible and chapter 11 of the Book of Zion. Next time we will take up where we left off. Until then, may the Gray bless you. Stay happy and high. I love all of you. Later, because I'll never say bye.